Okay, class, first of all, make sure that you have the table for conversions from your textbook and also a calculator. We'll probably have to do this lesson in a couple of parts. The first thing we're going to do is convert a measure. We are going to round to the nearest hundredth where necessary. And all of this is going to be based on the fact that you can cancel a label just like we can cancel when we have fractions. If you remember, if we had something like 4/5 times 3/4, we could cancel those 4's. We can do that same principle with labels, and that's what we have to do in these problems. We look at where we're going to start. We are going to start with 80 inches in 1 minute. Now, we need to look at where we want to end up. Notice that from inches, we want to get to feet. So I always tell students, start with that top quantity, 80 inches. If inches is in the top of this first fraction or first ratio, then I need to put it in the bottom. That way it will cancel. And I know that I have a conversion factor between feet and inches. 1 feet is 12 inches. This inch will actually cancel with that inch. I'm at the foot that I need. And my bottom label is already minutes. So I really don't have to multiply by anything else. Now I can multiply 80 times 1 to get 80 and 1 times 12 to get 12. I don't normally mess around with looking at doing a lot of conversions, although you certainly can if you'd like, but these are far easier if you just use them on a calculator. If you take 80 divided by 12, you're going to get a 6.6 repeating, and our directions do say to round off to the nearest hundredth. So we're going to have 6.67 feet per minute. Now let's look at example 2. Here we're going to start with 15 centimeters over 1 day. Now I look at what I want to get to. Notice that I have centimeters and centimeters, so I don't have to deal with that. But what I do have to get is the days and the hours. Now, this time days is on the bottom here. I'll want to put it up on the top so it will cancel. And then I can put hours on the bottom down here, which is exactly what I want. Because if you look back over here at the original problem, this H is in a bottom position. It's in a denominator position. I know that 1 day is 24 hours. And I hope you know that too. Now, yes, I can do some canceling. I could take this to 5/8 by dividing out a 3. That will work too. We usually have quite a bit to do, so it's just as fast to use a calculator. Now here, this one is a terminating decimal at 0.625. So a lot of students just leave it at 0.625, but if you round it off to 0.63, that'll be okay. Now at this point, I'm going to do example 3 because we're going to do 2 kinds of conversions in the same problem. We're going to take meters to kilometers, and we need to take seconds to minutes. All right. 1.92 meters in 1 second. I like to start with my top number, that numerator. I want to go from meters to kilometers. If meters is in the numerator, I'll need to cancel by putting it in the denominator. Then I can use kilometers in the numerator position, which will be just fine for what I want over here. Now, 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. My meters cancel with my meters, and the only distance I have left is kilometers, so I'm okay. I'm done with that. However, what I'm not finished with is this time. I want to go from seconds to minutes. And notice that over here, minutes is in a bottom position or a denominator position. So I want to put it in the denominator over here. To cancel seconds, I'm going to need to put it in a numerator position. Well, 60 seconds equals 1 minute. This is where knowing those conversions is a big help. Now, normally I just take the calculator and go 1.92 times 60 and then divide by 1,000. If you're going to multiply this out, 1.92 times 60, and I'm going to have to go down here because I'm out of room, I'm going to get 115.2 over 1 times 1,000 times 1 is 1,000. You really shouldn't need your calculator for this because all you do is shift your decimal point 1, 2, 3. So 0.1152. And because this one terminates, we can actually leave it at 0.1152. But again, if you're going to change it to 0.12, I won't have a problem with it. Okay, this time I want you to hit pause, and I want you to try it. Okay. Okay, I didn't say much, so I hope you followed what I did. I changed from miles to feet. Miles will cancel with miles. Hours here cancels with hours here. Minutes will cancel with minutes. All the labels I have left are the feet and the seconds. If I do the math on this one, I will get 475,200 divided by 3,600, and that's going to be approximately 132 feet per second. Now, if you'll notice, you can do this all in one step on your calculator. You can take 90 times 5,280, divide by 60, divide by 60, and you'll get the same 132 feet, and you can actually skip this 475,200 over 3,600. I'd also like to point out that we now have figured out that 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds, and that can be a big help when we get to later problems. At this point, I am going to go to one more problem, and then I'm going to stop the lesson and finish the rest of it in part 2. Again, I would like for you to hit pause and try it. Okay, how did you do? Notice that here I used, right in this part, I used the fact that we just figured out that 1 hour is 3,600 seconds, and that can shorten up my problem. Now again, you can go from 93 times 3,600 divide by 5,280 right away, and you should come up with 63.4 miles. And this concludes part 1 of this lesson 5-2B. Scouting out.